What's going on, Brick Squad? Welcome back to another episode of Matt's Mind. This is the video Q&A series in which I invite you guys to submit questions or topics for discussion down below in the comments, and all you have to do is two things. Number one, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and number two, make sure you give a thumbs up button down below on the video. And of course, guys, go ahead and comment your question or topic down below, and that'll of course give you a chance to be featured in next week's episode. Guys, this week we are going to be starting off with a really good question. Got Marfan_20ye with the comment or question, what do you think you could have done better on your crate mock now that you have moved on from it? Great question. One of the things I always find myself doing is coming back to my old projects and definitely looking at what I missed out on or what I could have done better, and definitely implementing that towards maybe my new projects. So looking back at crate now, if I could do a couple of things, I would love an interior. You know, I really thought that I wanted to do an interior room, or I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't have the room, like the table space or the money at the time. I would have loved to maybe make it wider too. I think I would have loved to make it 5x4 base plates, so 5 wide, so the base wall would essentially cover 3 base plates, and then just have the length be like one more additional. I think that would have been nice. One of the things that kind of bugged me towards the end was that it really wasn't proportionate. Like, the space between the base wall and the trench was not really like the greatest. But again, that's kind of the compromises that you have to make, especially when you have a limited amount of room, funds, and pieces, stuff like that. So really, overall, the biggest thing about crate that I missed out on was definitely the interior. I think also now looking back, I would have loved to maybe work a little better on the mountain range, the rock formations. I think I have more pieces and definitely more knowledge now, to the point where I know that I could have built something a little bit better. That's not to say that I'm not happy with how it came out in the end, but I would have loved to make the mountain ranges slightly wider. And again, that kind of just goes off the whole thing. I would have really loved to make the overall crate mock wider, just make it like a big battlefield instead of like a narrow path. I would have loved to actually put more space in between the two walkers. Looking back, that is definitely a mock that put me out on the map on YouTube and in this community, so I'm really happy with how it came out, and those are just a few things that I probably would have changed. The next question comes from Captain Lego Star Wars. Do you think that Lego should have made an Imperial cargo shuttle or a UCS one, and with what figs? Great video, by the way, appreciate it, man. I would have loved for them to make a UCS Imperial cargo shuttle. If you're thinking of the one from Scarif, which I'm pretty sure is the one that you're referencing, I would love that. For figures, I would love for it to come with an Imperial officer. I'd love for it to come with either 2 Stormtroopers or 2 Scarif troopers, which would be awesome. And then in terms of heroes, I'd love for Bodhi Rook, because he's obviously a big part in that whole plot. In terms of the cargo shuttle on Scarif, I'd also love to get a couple of more Rebel figures. It's actually one of the vehicles that I do eventually want to make in Lego, whether that be my own design or getting someone else's design, just putting it up on my shelf behind me. That's actually one of the coolest vehicles in Star Wars, in my opinion. I think it looks super dope, especially with that like orange container look in the paint. So I would love for Lego to make that. I don't think they would. I think it's going to be definitely difficult. If it were to be a thing, I'd probably say it'll be at least $300, probably around the max of $600. So now, it's not because it's a lot of money that I don't think Lego would eventually do that. It's just because it's not in high demand. Like, we have the X-Wing, the Y-Wing, the Slave One, you know, the TIE Fighter. We have all those like very iconic and high demand items. For that reason, I don't think that Lego would actually make the cargo shuttle in UCS, again, just because it's not that popular. However, I would really love it. That's a good question. Definitely the figs should be pretty cool. Next question comes from Exo Trooper. He asks, so I was wondering how you deal with Lego and YouTube while at college. I appreciate any advice, Matt. Yeah, no problem, man. So actually, I'm not technically at college. I commute, so I still live at home. I still have access to my room, my parts collection, but I do commute, so it means I basically drive to school every day. I'll be able to give really good advice from off campus if you're commuting. However, if you're on campus, basically all I could tell you is to squeeze as much Lego as you can into your dorm room. I know depending on where you're going to school, there's going to be smaller dorm rooms. I know Danny or Lego Buff Productions actually just did a video about his sort of dorm room setup with his Lego. So if you're living on campus, it's going to be hard, especially if you're a mock builder, especially a large mock builder like myself. You're not going to have that excess amount of room to actually build stuff. So as far as if you're on campus, I really don't know how to help you with that. But then we switch to the commuter, which is myself. Like I said, I drive to school Monday through Friday for classes, and I'm usually home by around 4 or 5. So one of the best pieces of advice I can give you is put school first, and you'll have time for Lego. Often I find my friends who are in the same situation as me, they kind of overthink their work for college. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of work, especially with exams, papers, midterms, finals. But something that I've found over the time is that there's more time than you think, and I think that's going to be an instance when you actually start to plan out your days accordingly. Like, for example, I have classes in the morning until about 2 or 3, and then I drive home by like 4 or 5. and then, you know, eat dinner, get my homework done if I have it, and then I also then work on videos and like Lego stuff throughout the night. So when it comes down to it, juggling YouTube and college, or even work for that matter, it just comes down to you being organized. What I like to do is in my laptop, I'll have like a notes app, and I'll put like Tuesday, Wednesday, and what to do, and it'll be like, okay, homework for this, and then for YouTube, it'll be YouTube Matt's Mind. That'll be the video I filmed today, and then it'll also be like work on Kessel or edit a video or something like that. So I think if you get all of the things that you need to get done out in front of you, like if you type them up or write it down on a piece of paper, and then you organize it throughout each day, it's going to be a lot easier than you think, and I think you'll feel much more relieved. Now, I will not lie to you, when midterms and finals roll around, I usually take a break from YouTube. For those of you guys who have been watching my channel for the past year or two, you'll know that when these midterms and finals exams come around, I kind of take a break with YouTube. I kind of limit myself when it comes to making videos. I'll only do like 1, 2, 3 videos a week instead of normally 4 or like a live stream or something like that. But the biggest thing to understand when it comes to juggling YouTube in college is that it's all going to be individual, right? There's nothing like the formula that I use is not going to work for you exactly. I guess the biggest thing to get out of this really long answer is that once you start like actually doing it, once you start actually working out to juggle school and work and YouTube and Lego, you'll find a rhythm that works for you. Like I said, my rhythm's going to be different for you. But I honestly think that when you start to, you know, but I honestly think that if you actually work diligently with your schoolwork, you will have plenty of time to do Lego. Maybe not necessarily film and edit YouTube videos, but you will definitely have time to do Lego. And then even then, you can kind of maybe pull back on the amount of videos you make, maybe do only 1 or 2 videos a week, but then also spend more time working on Lego mocks, projects, videos, stuff like that. So that's kind of the best advice I have to give to you. Again, it's one of those things where the more you do it, the more you'll get accustomed to it, and it'll be much easier for you. The next question comes from Rage Arctic. Great vid, love the channel, appreciate that. Let's see, I do have one question though. What do you use to store your Lego, and do you have any suggestions on how to store Lego? So unlike a lot of other Lego YouTubers, I don't actually have a studio room. My room is my studio room. So in the same room that I sleep and that I do my homework, it's the same room that I play video games and have all my Lego. So it's definitely a little bit hectic when it comes to storing. When it comes to storing big bulks of Lego, usually what I'll do is I'll put them in bins like these. In here before was about 2,000 2x2 tiles, and I've actually used quite a bit of them for Kessel. So when it comes to big pieces, I will use this. Also, when it comes to storing larger parts like that, these bins are like $1 at Walmart. These are absolutely great deals. I can fit so many pieces in here. So I use the majority of these 2 containers. And when it comes to smaller parts, I'll usually just use plastic bags, zippies, smaller containers, stuff like that. When I do move out eventually, I do want to get like an actual storage system, getting all of the like the filing drawers and stuff like that for my Lego. But as far as now goes, when I unfortunately have to work in the same room that I do sleep and I don't have that much room in here, those containers are probably going to be the easiest way because you could actually see physically what's in there. Often what I'll do is I'll put containers under my bed, under my table, because like I said, I need room in here. What's really great about these containers that I just showed you is not only are they very cheap, they're like 89 cents each, but you can also buy them in bulk and you can also see through them to see what parts in there. So if I get them in shipping boxes, I'll tend to just leave them in there. Again, it's just because it's easier for me. But once I move out, I plan on doing like a video about how I plan on storing my stuff for sure. This question comes from CNB Productions. Actually, not really a Lego question, but I always love non-Lego questions. Have you ever left the USA, and if so, where did you go? Yeah, I've actually been out of the US a couple of times. I've actually been to Thailand twice. My nationality is I am Thai and Italian. My last name is very Italian, but I obviously look Thai. So I've been to Thailand twice, once when I was 2 and once when I was 14, I think. I've also been to Italy once, and then also on a connecting flight to Thailand, I was in, I think it was Sweden very briefly. In total, that's 3 different trips that I went out of the country. Nothing too crazy. Those trips can be very expensive, so I'm sure you can assume why we don't go every single year. Next question comes from Party Pony 99. Have you ever regretted buying a Lego set? Yes. I honestly don't find myself regretting buying sets too often. However, the First Order Scout Walker, the little crab walker thing, I bought that for 20% off and I still hated it. It's literally on a shelf over there and I never ever want to see it again. Unfortunately, that's one of the sets that I really don't like. I think it's just kind of ugly and not really aesthetically pleasing. However, if your question was flipped and it was, what set do you regret not buying more of, that would be a whole bunch of battle packs, the Imperial Patrol battle pack, definitely some Scarif sets, definitely some ATSDs from Rogue One. But in terms of like stuff that I regret buying, it's like I said, it's only that set really. I'm usually pretty careful with how I spend my money in terms of Lego, except in that one case, but that's pretty much it. And the last question for today comes from Haran Sugarfoot Sanders. Question is, what do you want in episode 9 of Star Wars? I want a big battle. I think that's pretty obvious. We've gotten some pretty awesome battles in Force Awakens. We had Starkiller in episode 8, or yeah, episode 8 we had Crate. So I'm hoping that we get a nice, awesome battle. I'm hoping that it's very different too. Like, Crate was a very different landscape, so I'm hoping that they kind of do the same thing. In terms of the plot, I'm hoping that Kylo Ren is a little bit more of a serious villain. I honestly thought that Supreme Leader Snoke would be the main villain, but now he is dead, at least as far as we know. So unless he comes back, Kylo Ren, I guess, is obviously going to be that main villain. I guess General Hux as well. And I can't take those two guys seriously for some reason, so I'm hoping that something happens, whether it's their character or something that happens in the movie, that we can take them a little bit more seriously as an enemy. And also, something that kind of left me mind-boggled at the end of The Last Jedi is that the Resistance can fit on the Falcon, as opposed to them having thousands and thousands of troopers before and perhaps The Force Awakens. So most importantly, assuming that the good guys win in the end, I'd really like a good explanation as to how the heck the Resistance can jump back from that big loss on Crate. But that's pretty much it. I just want an awesome, fun movie. I didn't think that any of the movies we've gotten so far are like awful, so I'm really looking forward to episode 9. Guys, that is going to wrap up this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you guys want your comments or discussion topic in the video, go ahead and comment it down below, smash like on the video, and of course subscribe if you guys are new. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video, probably going to be a Kessel Parts haul, and that's pretty much it. So hope you guys all enjoyed. Now I'll see you later. Peace.